Thank you for staying on the Joy News channel. And just gone by, you had President Akufo-Addo speaking at the commissioning of the phase 1 of the B5 Plus steel factory in Pram. Heard him there slightly responding to concerns raised by the MP for Ningo Pram, where this factory is sited. Earlier, the MP had spoken about various issues that affect investment in the country, spoke about the lack of stable power supply, spoke about lack of water, and indeed did mention that this, and also the land tenure system, which he says affected or delayed the commissioning of this particular factory for 2 years. We'll take you back to Pram when the president is ready to commission that particular factory. But we also heard from the trades minister and other dignitaries present at this particular event. We'll take a quick breather now, but don't go away, we are not done yet. We'll be back with more. We are your most credible news source, and we'll be taking you back to Pram for the commissioning proper of that B5 Plus steel company. But let me bring you an update on our latest Hotline documentary. There was visible terror and shock among audience at the premiering of Crashed, our latest Hotline documentary, highlighting the menace of road accidents in Ghana. With over 700 lives lost in just the first quarter of 2021, the country could lose up to 22% of GDP in a decade if this trend continues. With all stakeholders in the sector under one roof, a strong case was made for urgent action to be taken, while the National Road Safety Authority is expected to begin regulating public transport operations. The police has initiated a technological response to effectively enforce road traffic regulations. Manuel Cranting has more in the following report.
When drunk, sleepy, or distracted, drivers finally slam on the brakes and the screeching tires refuse to stop.
He applied the bliss. I didn't see anything again.
I didn't see any blood or scratches around him. So I just held him, mentioned his name. There was no response.
Scenes that shocked patrons at the premiere of Crashed, the latest JoyNews Hotline documentary produced by Seth Kwame Boateng.
I thought of how or what we could do as a media house to help reduce road crashes on our roads, because we can't sit down for over 2,000 lives to go just like that every year. So I had to think of what I could do to paint the picture for all Ghanaians to appreciate the magnitude of the problem.
For the entire period of the screening, people were visibly terrified.
I saw this lady cringing at some point. Tell me, what was going through your mind?
I was quite terrified by the accidents that were happening, because it looks like most of us, both drivers, motorists, were not cautious of the necessary road safety measures that have to be put down on the road.
I feel very bad. My husband died through a car accident on his duty call. So I'm a widow. And that ignites that passion in me to be doing road safety.
Beyond the terror was a renewed commitment to ending road crashes. Apostle James Kofi Abre is with the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council.
We're seeing precious souls perishing. And we from the Christian fraternity, we value every soul. But now, as we have come to see, I'm going to share with the council to really factor in the road safety campaign, because we are in the talk ministry. Every week we meet our members.
And as more reactions were shared, one thing stood tall: a united call for enforcement of traffic regulations on our roads. Kofi Ofori-Siama is Transport Minister.
We cannot have a transport operating system without a regulator. So I'm appealing to the transport operators that going forward, the National Road Safety Commission Authority, ladies and gentlemen, is going to regulate the transport operators.
To succeed in this venture, Executive Director of the Road Safety Authority, Engineer May Obrieboa, wants law enforcement agencies to be allowed to do their work.
If ever we are to make a headway in our quest for safer roads, then we must step up our law enforcement game. The people who matter, and indeed those at the helm of affairs, should cease interfering and allow the MTTD to enforce the road traffic regulations.
And as this is pursued, there are efforts to upskill the technological component in enforcement of road traffic regulations. Superintendent Alexander Obeng is Head Education, Research and Training at the Police MTTD.
And that is why I've said, police, we are also focusing in automating our enforcement strategy, our enforcement efforts, so that technology will come and support the current traditional method that we are deploying.
Being Director of Training at the MTTD, speaking to me about what the police is yet to do on the back of this particular documentary produced by Seth Kwame Boateng. So it's essentially a multi-stakeholder consensus on the problem and the way forward. Reporting for JoyNews, my name is Manuel Cranting.
Now, I know that many of you couldn't watch that full documentary when it aired at 8 p.m. last night due to power issues, but that full documentary is on our YouTube channel, myjoyonline.com. But my colleague Mamavi Owusu-Abuaje earlier today went to the Newplant station here in Accra to interact with drivers on this rather disturbing problem.
I am a son say, who knew what to say? Wakwaka Queen. Nampempi, I must say, buses in Yazant and say, Makai, time one. A do bribino. 2,000 Neranu Kumasano. Omo condemn ye, say, your course agent. Into buses and no monfo. A bayer bus. I must say, buses in Yazant and say, Makai, time one. A do bribino. 2,000 Neranu Kumasano. Omo condemn ye, say, your course agent. Into buses and no monfo. A bayer bus drivers in a day. So Bakaya. Tama VIP fee yard with call one yard in the moon. You recommend one much as a woman that was almost experts. And no, not stay warm. Shall transport is a transport I in agent. Yeah, you found compare STC, you found compare other buses and Akano. Omutinima mode, Entino, Insanum, I will work on them cocaine.
We make a big allegation against bus drivers in general. And then soon we now can you okay?
The Medina American say, how much do you almost my young mode? And in Tia, yes, I mean to Mimo mate, Tamana drive, no mate, and no VIP.
Mempese yebe put spotlight no on specific bus names because asem na okano eso sebe inti mama yen yi film because enye VIP nko a buses na bebre aha inti yen maintain no other buses na yen ka bibia yen tim improve e wo ye show no so inti o kase ebi mo ho a they haven't gone through the routine but they end up being bus drivers and also na e cause accident. Okay, inti back to the reactions from what you see. You patrol a driver?
Yeah. Problem back when men road no say.
Uncle Seth.
Yes, Seth. Obe kabi. No one fix it light. Tintin to one problem. Fork light by 6. No a be at all so. Who kwenu. It me cause accident. 2. Fiako is a home. Planning rock marks ni na ko. O driver na jo a. O bre Even a yakra, utimi bo amnema type. Inti cause of accident in India. Light, you know, ekan. In sense, me drive ya chaba 32 years ni. Commander bi baya or masenga tie. Use career. And then I want to career. I car so 2 fog light up back up and I'll be used or highlight on. And then you will be used 610. My private car, no, the thing at the top. Who will be a goose? In sense, who do the can bear a bubble. Which
is really important. But road marking, you can't say, but people say, motor accident so mubuana, and I say, mo tie best na. Why never boamo?
You got 2,000 next year, Yaboa. And you say, Yan and wire and Waka Jam and Yabuamo.
Okay, why you beside that?
Me, my beside that. Mina Kumasi Road, Minati Kumasi Road, from Potrasi, and I'm in Namaso. But once the accident, you know, I know in $3, even private cars, no crown, have to be consultants, no, they are commercial driver. What about you? Who be Fiba? No, what about you? No. No, yes, sir. Commercial driver in an accident. On our cost accident. By any free. By yes, yes, but not acquired a confetti. What do you know?
Yes, I am more pentemple, more coin. And yet, Nipanegumokani, more coin. And more Kotoma Guaba.
Yanko Tomu said, "Go be no, I said, what crayfish or Quadumaba. Now, all cats are the car near Quacoboho. No, so any Ponusubet me will be. And Yagino and I hear Shablano. Now, Sabe, Bibia to me see. Passengers no mutikama. Me, my driving from her at Takrade, and it's Takrade, and I'm one can see Cape Coast one church. Passengers in a bisu can be. I'm for Kankawalo do attack Rade aircraft, and you know now well do. I'm getting some open term. And Madame Satam no, a crown so a dean, and his speech as a cobia Ubetmiako. Oh, Anthony Ebia Yakwasa and I am Pobia or better for to know better or better. Oh, and the passengers know, subsidy bisu count.
Na meme your passenger na meme se me pentema na say so abusia o onkofo a wo show ma wo nim say you have to stay alive for them. Why do you listen to me, the passenger?
Me pato e ba ni say anye wadwini na do mama passengers no e say wo so kwani say bi obetumi aden akwa say bi BBC a obetumi aden e save wo hu but nye nyina na ye de adwema passengers say open temet na say imrika say okọ na okọ da bi yenti sa yes you see adwena ye be call normal one say be oteka no ma onsuro na oteka no muso na bufu nye den emfu normal one ama ono anya nije wo ho na ono wo so anya nije den e won ho
na me be say overtaking no nti obi person can overtake wo so your driver.
Yeah, me a driver. Me pacho if I overtaking no as a good driver, your calculation need to be so your calculation. And
go ahead, you are trying to speak English. I can hear.
As a good driver, you need to calculate before you overtake. One, you don't need to overtake on a hill, on a sharp curve. Before you can overtake a car, you need to see through before you do your overtaking. And you have to indicate first before you try to overtake. Well, as a long journey driver, if you think of overtaking, watch your back, your front before, because a car may be behind you. That car is running faster than your car. So if you're not careful and you just run into another person's lane, or the incoming car facing you is running faster than you, it could cause an accident. So overtaking. Do
you follow these rules that you're telling me? These are like textbook.
Of course, madam.
Theory. Do you practice it?
Of course, madam. As a good driver, you need to practice. If you don't practice those things, then you always cause danger to your passengers or you cause accidents on the road. And through the road crashes, some of the road crashes are not caused by the drivers. For instance, Tema motorway. If you are any driver using Tema motorway,
would like to speed after the toll gate, would like to speed more than 80, 90. And if you are going more than 80, 90, 100, and you see the way the motorway is, there are potholes on it. At first, there were no street lights. Now I can say they have done well. There are street lights, so it's really happening. At first, there were no street lights. So when you are speeding and maybe the car in front of you is not going, and then you want to overtake the car to the other lane, if you are not careful because of the potholes, if you fall in the potholes, to call another swim for you. It was very bad for us, but now we thank them. But Kumasi Highway, we have a problem over there.
What is the problem from what you are seeing?
The problem we are having is we need a dual carriage road there. If we have a dual carriage road, the accidents will reduce.
If we have a dual carriage and you're still indisciplined as drivers, we will still record accidents.
You are right, but it will reduce. We have to discipline ourselves, it's right, but they need to help us. The one way is not helping at all. Because from here to Kumasi is about 4 hours journey, and if you are going, you need to go faster. And if you are overtaken and you're not very careful and facing a big truck, it will cause you an accident. For instance, the video you just sold to us, if it was a dual carriage road, it would never happen. I bet you, it would have never happened. So they should help us on that side. They should give us a dual carriage road, and they should work on our street lights and our road signs and our road markings. It's really, really important to us, because if you are driving without a road marking, without a street light, it's not good.
What's your name?
My name is Michael.
Okay, Michael has essentially summarized the many things that you've heard from these drivers that I'm engaging with right here at the New Plant Station. Boss, now
medical station was station master. Tembia o car dada no apamo o test o check it. O just my respecting was adding no pa.
Na mami misa mo nyina mo car no mo insure, because sometimes accidents ni si ansa na you realize say cars no you insure your documentary no driver binya accidents e ma ne nan e twaye o se ne car owner no ekoji insurance no siesie car no one kobo kra wa mani bi nti no eden na mo so mo de bom ho ban car ne de ya insure BBC a car no ye betimi affix na mo ankasa so
the station masters no say the nyina o check my say that station bin check there meaning. But second passengers no ya muntu o mo for TV so my obi o ma last week obi flam say opeka akwada bala junction driver me minimum so run aflawo o so obadi 600 Kosu akonya bi 400. Driver na akonya no 400 ni bia o trotro driver. On run onim kwan so. Akoto trafo bi hu ban. Ba driver onim kwan so ni ska ojo no chisire wantua. Obi on my be kala pass. Umu ka na ya ofe. O so fan ko London. Tu baba London station ni ama driver. No don ko. Enti chisire no passengers no. Mo no mo nkasa man. Na driver we so madi ne ho ya. Se wo lodu takwa de alibua o ma pressure driver ne de wa ko ba fie
and the yenyina yama drivers pressure. Sometimes you may not listen to them, but the voices may be loud nti yes or dey no so tuja
as a driver wo tell tia woni wo nyankopon nanam de wo wadwen tell na ese wo ye ntie de passenger okay
yate yeah that's it okay
me so me wasam ka fa
but answer my question no e dey ban bo and also wo dey ma wo se me ya sebe bibi kosia na unso atire na omo depend on you so no omo ho ntire omo
mambo abde ma mo se be mu yie se me nye overtaking wo careful so se enso to a meto me bu ase se me go speed me amro so a type ya me ntimi enje me ho eti mambo abde mo se me nam a me check nyama bebre me nye overtaking wo careful so enso to a meto me bu ase se me kura 100 speed kura me ba from below
insurance na
insurance me dem kura G-plate to car ntinu e bibia
na mo nyina mo register o NHIS mo nyina mo NHIS
pato ye wo bi wo ho me pato ti makoma so dem pesa me ka kira ban ni se kufuo eba ya no oyi road bebre ma yan oyi kwani bi free nkoko oyi kwani bi free chebi afi oye double road ekosi apedwa Oye ko si abadwa no. Ye nto aso. Se say free konongo ko de bia di traffic mu. Na me adom anado so ba Kubasi wa yito na free wa ma say mu fa wo na konongo no. Adan no o kwan ho. Se say ade ambata de ma ba ne say train kwan no. Opa onyi train kwan no emfa nya the second road. Na ye free Kumasi ba no ye first train kwan no nya road ma yen. Ni ye mfa na ye free Accra so ko no. Ye mfa road ne nam so na konongo nya double road. Abema ye ho atoye ma konongo ti be free. Na se oye train kwan no fofra na wa le kwan no fofro ato ba bi. All the say about am because Kufuor ba no of asade no ma ebo ayen. Afa say be say e free Accra akwa Abuja junction no road no Kufuor start be ti na ye wie. Ommo modin say obey road na ma ye wie. Na so ba to aso man ya on to aso na double road dey boa. Amema accident so atwa. Amema nyema bebre so atwa man ya. To be say na do say ne dey sia na me. Ommo modin say obey sade na ma.
Ya te me da say. Nana me be say about insurance no any NHIS but you also want register with NHIS. Okay. Now car no so is insured. Okay. Then now person will catch him.
Oh, dem person me ka say say na me nuanum aka bebre. Me nuanum aka bebre. Dia mesa ka come say me hia police mpanifo no. Police mpanifo no omuntie man kakra say ka bi say a me hia say Toyinka na abande ama omo no omo bombo na omo yeren na omo wisi mayen carry Toyinka isi baby road bia so tetro baby accident ni wo afra kwanso takrade kwanso Accra we Kumasi kwanso na anytime bia no accident timisi hwe na no say omo bu school yi ye say nkwara nko school yi fon wa fon ani omo nko school yi kere omako nkara bi aba obi akohwere omo nkwa wo takrade kwan so enye awofo be den na school nu so sera government no ase ye no mesra no bebre ohwe na nkara no be ko school na omo me ko no omo nko ohwe na bebre ntimi nko a omo mema trafie omo trafie we nu manya se na no go school na omo ye we a accident we omo nim omo ofie ma omo papa omo mame abusiafo so we see abusiafo no omo den so uba na wo hwe no da che no ba be hwe wa o hwe ne nkwan ntimi se omo Toyinka ani sa we no misre ana ye kasa wa nyina no ye nyina da station master match ase ona odi eganim e wo station ha ani ye chairman no mu ye stay ye secretary ye vice no ye da omo ase omo de etimi push en ana etimi kasa wa hai nti asira ya omo dia ana mo nso omo ban so ye dia asira e mamu se anopa ma ba ye nchen abetie ye no asem
Madam asese mo fi mo cars ho na mo so mo ne yen abedidi nkomo o pese o se dey
ade ba ko ha me
pacha ye ne tem
ani foreigners car Burkina ni Niger cars no omo ye scale wa habo enso mu be pie no no mo lodu kan bebre kan ko nya na dindan o motorway o mutimi ya na twi enso no scale o mo scale no Ghana for say collect young Ghana for your co and yes, Omutiti and bad. But Omuda Bibia no Munamu, no more Sayan Crano.
Matia said, your very important issue that he raises there, it comes back to the issue of enforcement. I guess when it is all said and done, like we've done with this great interaction this morning, a lot of the responsibility will also lie on enforcement of these old regulations that we already have. It's a continuing conversation about road accidents and the figures that we're recording. Just the very beginning of this year, the figures aren't looking good at all, and it is all of our responsibility collectively to be responsible so that we can reduce the numbers that we are recording.
Not all people who died from road traffic accident got their families to even hear about the unfortunate incident or death. In various mortuaries across the country, there are such bodies there waiting for families to reclaim them. The Kwamfanochi Teaching Hospital mortuary is one of them. This part of the hospital is undoubtedly the quietest. Those autopsies have been done on them already, have been tagged and lie on an aluminium trolley placed inside the refrigerated body store. In another room behind me are other lifeless bodies on embalming tables. Some have been opened up already for autopsy. There are others, however, waiting to be investigated. An accident body is one of them. This middle-aged, lifeless man got severely injured in the accident that brought him here. His broken bones are all sticking out. Dr. Ernest J., head of the hospital's pathology directorate, sees such bodies on a weekly basis.
Every year we bury not less than 4 or 5 individuals who have not been identified, and these are usually road traffic crashes related. When we have kept the body for sometimes as long as 1 year and there's no one showing up, the necessary protocols are observed, and then these bodies are buried when we are doing mass burials.
29-year-old Mark Ofosu-Ampadu Jr. was among the thousands who were killed in road accidents last year. In January 2020, he was crushed to death on his way from Oyarifa to Accra. It is a very painful loss to the family. His parents cannot wipe their tears over it. His mother, Cecilia Ofosu-Ampadu, cannot understand how she could lose her last born under such circumstances.
So I told him that Sunday is a Sunday, so my dress, everything is ready. So you leave your dress and everything, then when I come, I'll iron it. So he left. He left, then he came back and said, "Mommy, I'll be back soon." I said, "Okay."
Little did she know that the "I will be back soon" promise was going to be the last statement from her beloved son.
He doesn't sleep outside. He has never. Even if he's late, at times he can come home, he go for a program, he come late, he will come home. Normally, I've been checking on him and he said the friends are calling him Mommy's son. So that day, from some time, I stopped checking on him. So immediately I said, no. If Dinia will not come and sleep, he will call or send a message. I checked my phone, there was nothing on it. Then immediately I started panicking. And the father said, "Oh, nothing will happen, so be calm."
As with most mothers, her maternal instinct of a sixth sense kept signaling her there was something wrong. So Mrs. Ofosu-Ampadu couldn't be calm. Indeed, a call from Mark's boss early the next morning confirmed her worst fears.
Then he said, "Oh, somebody said he saw the car in an accident and they rushed him to hospital also." In fact, we started calling everybody that we knew. The friends started calling the friends here and there, trying to locate where we can find him. Then we were told that he was sent to Pantan.
They had to abandon the scheduled Thanksgiving service and rush to the Pantan hospital. They didn't know this hospital could not handle Mark's case, so was referred to the 37 military hospital. His father, Mr. Ofosu-Ampadu, tells us more.
I don't know what happened at 37, whether he was here, but when we checked there and there was no records about him, then they advised us, "Why don't you check the police hospital?" So we followed up to the police hospital. That place too, there was no record, but it's somebody who said, "Is it not that young man whom they brought and sent him straight to the morgue?" So I decided to rush there, and lo and behold, when he was lying on a stretcher. Immediately I saw him.
Really sad story there. This is one of the many reasons why JoyNews partnered the Road Safety Authority to caution drivers and road users on the need to stay safe. Don't forget, you can watch that full documentary on our YouTube channel, My Joy Online. There's also more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Sorry we couldn't take you back to Pram Pram, but we bring you more details on that commissioning by President Akufo-Addo. Do stay with us here on JoyNews. We are your most credible news source.